We have finally reached the end of a very cold and very snowy winter here in Norway. Or at least that was what I thought. I thought this would be a spring video, since it's already April and usually the snow is gone here in the southern parts of Norway by now. But this year winter has really been holding on for dear life. The ground being frozen and cold, the rivers still being low on water, and the snow never melting. There's this standstill of some sort out in nature right now. So many days these past months the sun was shining and filled us with this sense of lightness, only to be replaced the day after by a heavy snowfall. When winter holds on like this, it almost feels claustrophobic. It feels like everything is frozen in time and you're kind of trapped within it. Nothing's changing, nothing's moving. I'm really glad we spent so much of March touring the West Coast with our workshops, because I know how frustrated and impatient I would have been if I was home just waiting for spring all this time. And there's something about the sea that doesn't feel as frozen as the inland landscapes. The sea doesn't sleep in winter. We had a week off that we spent in Bergen, that you can see in my previous video, but then we had to move on with our workshops and our touring. And we moved into another Airbnb, close to the schools we were visiting those weeks. The Airbnb was this beautiful house by the sea, and it was the last house at the end of a long gravel road. So it felt like we were all alone out there. After our days teaching in the schools, we mostly spent our time working some more on our computers in the cabin and exploring the beautiful area along the seaside. The area that we were staying in is called Hagland, and it has all of these military fortresses that you can go explore since they are no longer in use. Some of them are so camouflaged that it was almost impossible to see them from a distance. Right now they're just these empty buildings looking out over the sea. But I was definitely thinking how lucky we are that we don't have to use them. It was so quiet out there. Just the two of us. These strange, almost hidden buildings and the sound of the sea. I grew up by a freshwater lake, and I am definitely a forest person. I have this feeling of being very exposed when I'm by the sea or out at sea. There's really nowhere to hide there. But even though I find the ocean kind of scary, I also find it very fascinating and life-giving. Just the power of those waves can give me so much energy, and I really felt like I needed that during these really cold spring weeks. The weather on the west coast is just so unpredictable. Yesterday it was no snow at all, and now I'm gonna show you what it looks like today. It's all white. Wow. This is the house we're living in, and just right up there, there's this view. I'm gonna take you there. Wow. Whoa. Yeah, so we didn't really escape the winter by staying on the west coast for a month. But we were closing in on April, and we still had some hope that when we went home in about a week we would have some real spring. Hello everyone! I am guessing that from the background here now you know where I am. And that's right, I am home again. And it feels so good. I'm so overjoyed to be home again. Honestly, it feels so good. And that's one of the things that I really love about traveling away actually on tour. It's that I appreciate my home so much more when I'm back again. But we came home like last week, Wednesday last week, and today's Monday, and it's definitely been kind of like a crash landing here. So it's been super intense. We've had a lot of things happening. My father was here visiting with my little brother who is 5. And we also had like many things to catch up on here because we are part of like quite a lot of projects now. And we have more friends here now, which also means that when we come home, there's actually a lot of people coming by and just like wanting to say hello. Just a year ago, when we would come home from tour, I would sometimes feel like nobody really knew that we had been gone, you know, because we didn't know that many people. But now it's not like that anymore. And yeah, it's kind of been busy. And today I think is sort of the first day that I feel like I can just spend it however I want and I don't have any plans. So I'm trying to clean up here because it's such a mess. Like, yeah, everything is messy and everything is so muddy. So this is the situation in the kitchen at the moment. And we have something really exciting happening here. We have a new table. It's not that small thing over there, but there's like a bigger thing. I'm gonna show you what we've done to that. Everywhere also looks muddy like this because we didn't have the spring that we were hoping for when we came home. So this is the weather that's going on right now. We were kind of hoping that we could kind of escape the last months of winter and just travel to the west coast and be there, since there is not that much snow there, and then come home here and there wouldn't be any more snow here. But I guess we miscalculated because it's definitely a lot of snow still. Being back home, we had no time to waste. There were so many projects and things that we had to put on pause while we were away, and we really had to get to it. Ja, jag trodde det. Ja. Nå var det kaldt. Woohoo! Det er vel perfekt. So I gotta share with you because this table that I've just sanded down, the table foot, is just so beautiful. Like I didn't really see the structure of it that well when it had all this old polish, but now I really see like the how it's made and stuff, and it's really cool. Just look at how all these pieces are like fitted together to create this structure. Like this is so cool right here. I love this, and just the pattern of it. All of these patterns, so beautiful. And you can see that it has these wooden nails here to tie it all together, which is also really cool. So Bendik has sanded down like the top of this table, and this is the underside. We're just gonna test some colors on there. And the thing is that we want this, I think it's pine, and we want it to look the same as the oak chairs. So we're gonna try different stains to see if we can get the color that is kind of similar to this. I really love this color. I think the warmth and the life in it is really nice, but it doesn't look as similar to the chairs. And this one is a good, like, in between, I guess, but it's a bit too gray for my taste. I don't really like gray. And these are, in a sense, quite golden. You can see that there's this mix between gray and this golden color in a way. So I just don't know. We have to try maybe another one, I think.
Seems like just yesterday out in the yard, there on our backs where the sky was so dark, watching the satellites passing like dust in the air. And speaking of planets and distance and time, I reach for your hand.
This table that we had brought here was actually a table we had gotten from Bendik's parents. And they bought it in England about 30 years ago when they were living there for a while. It had seen a lot of use, so it needed a new finish. But even though it took a while, it was at the same time something very nice to do, to just anchor into being home again and try not to focus too much on the winter that was still not going away.
Will I have your heart and will you have mine? While holding back thoughts of a lingering history of pain. What will become of us? Song you sing, feelings too strong to keep hiding away, and the veil has come down and we stare at the blank-hearted moon. We grow to the ground like two seeds in the grass, hoping this moment before us won't pass, and closing our eyes we know sunrise will come very soon.
These lamps were here when we moved in, and they didn't really fit too well with our new table. So we decided to move the lamp that was above our daybed and have it over the table instead. I managed to finish the table in time for Easter and for the arrival of our good friend Ethan. Ethan is from the United States, so he had traveled all the way over here to Norway, and we were so thrilled to have him here. We actually met him 4 years ago at an artist residency in northern Norway. All 3 of us were residents at this island called Træna, and we really became friends out there and had some amazing experiences together. When the 3 of us get together, we usually end up on some really cool but also kind of intense adventures, and this time was no different. One of the things that we really wanted to do was to take Ethan to some of the more spectacular parts of Telemark. So we went on a road trip to a place that's called Rjukan to get to the top of Telemark's highest mountain, Gaustatoppen. There's actually an old train that goes through the mountain and all the way to the top. It was originally built as part of a secret NATO base, but is now open to the public. We were really excited to finally try this out. But it was not without its challenges to park up there in the snow with our rental car. And when we finally made it to the line, we really had our hearts in our throats. It's gonna be for like 15 minutes. Hi, Tom!
Yo, this is crazy.
Let's sit on the back here. If you guys sit here. It consisted of 2 trains, the first one going 850 meters into the mountain, and the second one taking us on a very steep journey upwards to the top. Even though the car ride here and the train ride up the mountain was really scary, it was all worth it when we reached the top. Looks like you're sitting on the tip of a mountain almost. And then it's just like the top of a restaurant.
Not as adventurous when you realize what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of weird though, in a good way. So it's super scary. Good, it's just kind of sliding a bit. After our adventures at the top of Gaustatoppen, we went down to the foot of it to look at the village that lies there. Rjukan is an old industrial village, and a lot of the houses here were built around the same time, early 1900s, to house people that were working in the industry that was growing here. This village was also the location of one of the biggest sabotage missions in Norway during World War II. Sadly, the industry has been moved from here, and it no longer feels as vibrant as it probably was at that time. This village also doesn't see any sunlight from the mid-October until mid-March, so there's actually been built a mirror here that shines a few rays of sunshine into the village center during the winter months. All in all, it's a very strange and interesting place that we always are happy to show our visitors when they come to Telemark. Unfortunately, a 5-week-long tour, a crash landing at our cottage, and then some really cool but also intense adventures with our friend Ethan became a bit too much for my body, and I got really sick the last part of the week that he was here. I think sometimes our bodies are just telling us when we need to slow down. And I tried to listen to it. When Ethan eventually had to travel on to his new adventures in the north, I told myself that I would take a week off from work just to feel a bit better. So I don't even know how many clips of me pouring coffee I've actually put in this video now. Did you guys know that Norwegians are the people, like one of the people in the world that drink the most coffee? It's true though. I'm part of it for sure. I love coffee. So I'm not gonna remove it. So the hammock is up. If that's not a spring sign, then I don't know what is. This is actually kind of a special moment, I feel like, when the ground is so dry that you can sit on it in the spring. It's just like something very liberating, I feel like. And for me, I think that comes from childhood actually, because I used to play so much outside with my friend, and we played with these like teddy bears and also with Barbie dolls, and they had these adventures they were going on outside, and we played with them for a long time actually. Like I think I haven't really talked about that much, but I actually used to play with these until I was about 14. So it took a long time before I stopped playing with them, and I still miss it. But anyways, that's a side tangent, but it was always so annoying in the springtime. You couldn't really sit on the ground because you got so wet all the time, so it was really hard to play outside because eventually you get tired of standing, you know? So I always remember these first days when you could sit on the ground were really special in a way, because there were like this freedom in it, just sitting there and being like, you can sit here now. And I think that kind of stayed with me, so I always feel kind of liberated when it's possible to do this. So yeah, a few weeks have passed since Ethan was here, and I haven't really picked up my camera that much. I just needed to take a little break. I was really tired and just kind of been feeling slightly stressed and overwhelmed ever since I came home from the tour, really, because there's been so much going on. And there are a lot of projects that we are working on outside of this channel and that I don't really talk that much about. So it's like there's always a lot of things going on, and sometimes they just kind of pile up a bit, and that's kind of happened now, and I feel like I'm still trying to get on top of it, really. And yeah, that's maybe also why this video is a bit all over the place. I've kind of been struggling to edit it because I feel like my life has been so all over the place, and that kind of shows in the video as well. But decided that I'm gonna publish it the way that it is, because I guess that's just how my life has been, so it's in a sense kind of honest. I think a lot of people talk about it more like they get really tired during these months, during March and April, and feel very exhausted. I think I am tired and exhausted too, but I'm just like a person with a lot of energy. Like, I can be very intense. I am very intense generally, and I feel like maybe in the spring I just go into this overdrive kind of, instead of being very tired and exhausted. So it kind of manifests in a different way for me, but I think it comes from the same source of just feeling like, yeah, it's been a long winter. So I really feel like now the sun has come back. It's been so warm this week. It's been like 18 degrees Celsius. I really feel like I'm starting to feel better now. Just like both physically and mentally. So I hope this is going to be the start of something different. Yeah, and I tried to take some time off after Ethan left, and honestly I didn't really do that. I couldn't really do that totally. There were too many things that I had to get on top of, so I had to take maybe a few days off, and then it was on to the next project. I mentioned the last episode that I am going to make a podcast with my friend Anna. It's coming soon, and I'm gonna let you know. I think on Instagram is where you're gonna get the first information about that, so I recommend following me on Instagram if you want to be the early person to know about this. There's also going to be a day in the life video on Patreon very soon, and then maybe I'm going to release it on YouTube later. But if you want to be one of the first people to see it, then you can check that out as well. You'll find the link down in this description. Can you hear the birds? I don't know if you can hear the birds. Ah, that makes me so happy. Are you happy about the spring too? You see, Bubby? Yeah. Yeah. So nice, huh? Yeah. It's so nice, huh? Yeah. You had the toughest winter of all of us, huh? Yeah, but you recovered so well. You're so tough. You're so tough.